Greetings, weirdlings. I'm Danny Danger, and at PAX, somebody asked me how I organize my comic book collection. I don't. Not to say that I haven't tried. I've tried everything. I've tried making a list on documents or Google Docs. I've even tried handwriting a list on grid paper, which I don't recommend because hand cramps. For a while there, it just gave up. I figured I would discover missing issues as they came up, and then I would leave myself a note and then go buy the issue whenever. I don't really recommend that either. What I do recommend is Wunderlist, a listing app that someone at PAX actually told me about. First, I downloaded the app, and once I got it set up, I started my first list, comic book collection. Then I just started adding titles. Advice: feel free to add your titles all willy-nilly. You can reorganize the order later, and it will even alphabetize it for you if you do so desire. The point is, get all your titles in there. Just do it. As I add titles, I flag currently running series that are being talked about heavily or that are some of my favorites. These are titles that I want to stay up to date on. This helps me prioritize what I read. When you click on a title, you can add more information. In the notes section, I like to include information that will help me recommend this title more easily, like who's the creative team, what age group do I recommend it for, and I like to put the original solicit in there as well. For those of you who watch my weekly poll list or have your own poll list, you know the hardest thing about weekly comics is just staying caught up. I mean, think about it. It's like a month between episodes of your favorite TV show. Some awesome details can get lost in your memory. My favorite feature of the app solves this problem with comments. As I read an issue, I open up the comments section and I use voice predictive text to summarize what it is that I'm reading. Although I will say, BT dubs, predictive text is more of a hinder than a help when you're recapping Thor. And look, I have other lists too. I have my classic comics collection, I have my wish list, I have my trade paperback collection. My favorite is my Indian Rare Comics collection, which when I go through those, I include details about like where I found the comic or what I was doing when I found the comic. And I even include pictures because that's a thing you can do. The app also lets me make these lists public, which means you guys can go check out and see what I'm collecting and the notes I've left about each title. But you can't view the comments, which is kind of bad because it would be nice for you guys, but at the same time it's kind of good because it takes the pressure off of me to write these amazing, fantastic summaries of issues, and I can just, you know, talk in my normal voice. A few people have recommended other list-making apps or even comic book specific ways to catalog your collection, but this format works the best with my brain. How do you collect your comic books? How do you keep track of everything that you have? Is your stack like this gigantic and you just have this like tiny secretary who just keeps everything for you? What do you do? Tell me down below in the comments. Everyone is really excited about this idea of Thor and Storm being friends because they both bring the thunder. I'm super excited about it, and here's why. Because Storm has been going through a really hard time lately, and she needs a friend, and I think Thor could be that friend. She'd look at her and be like, girl, it's okay. You're not crying. It's just raining really, really hard. Gotcha. Captain Marvel Forever, I figured out why exactly I don't like Battle World. Battle World, the title, reminds me a lot of Murder World from Avengers Arena, which the title Murder World for the arena where they all have to fight each other was really campy, but it's totally okay in the context of that story because, I mean, it's straight up a ripoff of a Japanese horror flick anyway, so campy is okay. But I don't know how I feel about campy in my giant universe-crushing Marvel titles. Nikki B and apparently the entire internet are very concerned that Marvel is purposefully phasing out their X books in lieu of Inhuman books. I think that's a bit of a stretch, you guys. I mean, there's what, like 3 Inhuman titles if you count Ms. Marvel Kamala Khan, but there's still like 20 million X-Men books, and there's just, I mean, the X-Men are arguably Marvel's most money-making franchise in the comics. I think this is a stretch, and a lot of people are making this stretch, and I say don't panic until you know something official. Batman Beyond 1939, a calendar is a great idea. We're gonna work on putting something together because we want to make ourselves accessible to you. Hey, be sure to like, share, subscribe for more advice on how to keep track of your comic book collection, how to upkeep, sell it, advice for comic book people, and also just commentary and comic book fun. A special thanks as always goes out to Austin Books and Comics, who provide us all of the actual physical things, not apps, to organize our comics like boxes.